I really hope all the countries in the world try to communicate and cooperate more in this time and transform to a new cycle in a positive direction. What I described and what I hope are the aspect of Yun, which we can't change. But if people don't follow the right Ming during this April, the consequence from next month could be unknown. Hello everyone, this is Dr. Jaden. Welcome to Ming Medicine. Today is the part 3 of 3 categories of earthly branches, which is the storage branch, 辰戌丑未. Let's get started. The storage branches are the last characters of triple or seasonal combinations, or we can say the last characters of big and small cycles. You can see they are all earth, so in this video, we are going to learn these 4 earth branches. Different from other 5 elements, there are 4 earth in earthly branches. You can see there are 2 wood, 2 fire, 2 metal, and 2 water, but there are 2 more earth, which makes 4. The earth as a mediator is distributed to each direction in a different form to regulate each season. So, the earth makes different numbers between heavenly stems and earthly branches. We usually call the storage branches in this order, 辰戌丑未, which are dragon, dog, ox, and goat, or sheep. 辰戌, dragon and dog, make a clash, and 丑未, ox and goat, make another clash. In the perspective of Liu Qi, they create different pivoting forces. 辰戌 create Tai Yang, cold water, and 丑未create Tai Yin, damp earth. As the earth, the storage branches are necessary for any kind of completion, such as the completion of each season as the small cycle or the big cycle. The earth is in the center between wood fire yang and metal water yin. As a mediator, the earth adjusts the balance of both yin and yang and has a capability to receive everything. Also, it is the place that everything is mixed up. In human body, stomach is one of the earth organs, which first receives everything that we take and makes a blended juice before distributing to other places in our body. In same principle, everything that happens in the birth and the exuberance branches is gathered and is mixed in these storage branches, being thrown out or being stored, eventually being ready to transform to next seasons or next cycles. This is the fundamental role of the earth. In the organ clock, the stomach, the small intestine, the pericardium, and the liver correspond to the storage branches. And all these organs have the quality of the storage branches, which is receiving, mixing, and transforming. We already talked about the stomach. The small intestine is the organ that all the pure and turbid stuffs are mixed together. And the job of small intestine is to distinguish what is pure and what is impure, sending pure things to the other organs as nutrition, descending turbid things down to large intestine. The pericardium is a sac that covers the heart, but in Oriental medicine, it is the place that all kinds of emotions are gathered before entering into the heart. The liver is the big organ of protection and detoxification, so all the materials has to go to the liver to be determined if it is toxic or not. So we can see how these 4 organs take and receive everything, distinguish and distribute, like the storage branches. In a seasonal view, the storage branches are trans seasons. Simply saying, Cho Earth, the dragon, is the trans season of spring. Wei Earth, the goat, is the trans season of summer. Shi Earth, the dog, is the trans season of fall. And Cho Earth, the ox, is the trans season of winter. In these trans seasons, old things or things that have been going on get either solved or get worse. There is a proverb in Korea. The resolved things cannot last more than 3 days, which means the third step is a time that the first crisis can come. The first step is the birth branch, in which everybody starts doing something, and the second step is the exuberance branch, in which everyone concentrates on something really hard. Then it came to the storage branch, in which everyone can get exhausted or lose interest a little bit. Some people might overcome this period and go toward next cycle, but some other people might just give up what they have been doing. After overcoming this third step, which is the first storage branch, it can go smoothly until the sixth step, the next storage branch. These steps can be 3 to 6 days in a very short term, and it can be 3 to 6 months or 3 to 6 years in a longer term. The crux is that any kind of happening meets number 3, 6, 9, or 12, which are the number we meet the storage branches, and those could be crises or chance to solve the problems. For example, romantic relationship or marriage can meet these crises every 3 months or every 3 years. And people may encounter the situations if they want to continue this relationship or not in this time. In other words, people who have been fighting could reconcile in this time. Or sometimes people cooperate with previous enemies in this time and go to the next cycle. Sometimes any kind of business or company may slow down or even collapse in this period because Earth not only means harmony and balance, but also means bearing or throwing away something. Therefore, in classics, storage branches are called as storages, but also as tombs. Actually, in storage branch years or month, more people tend to die than other branches. If some people have suffered from illness for a long time, the time of storage branches could be the crisis for them. Their condition could be improved a lot through the next cycle if they overcome this period. However, not everyone can overcome the period of storage branches if they are serious cases. Like this, Earth, the storage branch, has the meaning of solving ongoing problems, and we actually don't know what is right or wrong directions in the perspective of the universe. It just happens. In last video, we discussed a little bit about the pandemic situation due to COVID-19. Since April 4th, the Cho Earth has begun. As the storage branch, this month will be the time for the first cooperation among countries and the first delaying moment of brutal spread. Therefore, the increasing speed of the new cases could be a little slower than last 2 months in some countries, and some countries may start collaborating together to plan the solutions. However, people who are already infected by COVID-19 might still be killed a lot because the storage branch has the meaning of tomb. Also, for few countries, new cases could be increased more in April if those countries follow the opposite rhythm like this. Which means if certain countries were not really careful in the last 2 months and were not very honest with the real case numbers, that will be revealed in this month. I really hope all the countries in the world try to communicate and cooperate more in this time and transform to a new cycle in a positive direction. What I described and what I hope are the aspects of Yun, which we can't change. But if people don't follow the right Ming during this April, the consequence from next month could be unknown. If you don't understand what is the aspect of Yun or Ming, please watch my previous video about Da Yun. So I want to say please follow the guidelines thoroughly, at least just for 1 month. Then things will definitely start getting much better from next month. Now let's get back to the theory. We've learned the storage branches are the time for making a completion and storing something, or it is the time that something is buried in a tomb, metaphorically. The 4 different earths have their unique roles, which means each of them stores different 5 elements. Some of you guys might already notice that I put little circles in the storage branches. These are the 5 elements that each storage branch store or bury. Let's start with Cho Earth first, the dragon. 申子辰 are the big cycle of water. Water is conceived in the first month of fall, Shen metal. and gets the strongest in the second month of winter, 子 water. And it is finally stored in the third month of spring, 辰 Earth. The next season after Chen is summer, which is governed by fire. So water has to be buried under the earth temporarily to let this fire season expand the most, because water controls fire, as you know. And also in summertime, water can be dried up. Therefore, Chen Earth is located at the end of spring, but there is abundant moisture in it. So it is usually called as damp earth, like a swamp. We cannot say it is a drinkable water, but lots of water source is stored here as a reservoir. So in classics, there is a word. If fire is blazing, ride on a dragon. 火气成龙. Here the dragon means Chen Earth. I made one example chart that has really strong fire. In this kind of chart, this Chen Earth takes a huge role to deal with fire. In nature, plants grow and reach for the sky through February and March, and we can see water drops suddenly form on the surface of the plants in April, which we can say water goes up the stem from the roots to the leaves using wood energy. And when April comes, the water starts retreating downward a little bit, so that movement makes water drops. This phenomenon is exactly same as the graph I showed. The wood energy keeps growing and now has to be ready to transform to fire. So the nature pulls the wood energy back a little bit and let it step on the earth one more time before expanding to fire phase. And this Chen Earth stores water, which is the mother of wood. So it tonifies wood by giving little juice and let the wood root down firmly into the earth. Then now the wood is charged to be able to spring up to the fire. Next, Wei Earth, the goat, is the last branch of the big cycle of wood, 亥卯未. Wood is conceived in the first month of winter, 亥 water, and gets the strongest in the second month of spring, 卯 wood, and it is finally stored in the third month of summer, Wei Earth. Storing wood energy here can let the fall season come easier. It is never good for the wood to keep generating fire in this time, because fire will control metal strongly, and eventually metal will revenge on this wood. Therefore, the nature tries to hide and store the wood energy to protect both wood and metal. But especially the protection of wood is very important here, because from August, Shen metal, all the growth is massively descending by metal energy, so wood should be protected for the next year. In nature, all the plants and trees grow the most until July. This gives a full expansion of nature, and it is the most humid time before going into fall season. Therefore, full growth and expansion happen in Wei, before all the leaves are off the trees. The next branch is Shi Earth, the dog. The big cycle of fire is In Wu Shi. Fire is conceived in the first month of spring, In wood, and gets the strongest in the second month of summer, Wu fire, and it is finally stored in the third month of fall, Shi Earth. This is similar situation as Chen Earth. Shi Earth is the trend season of fall, so next season will be the winter, which is water season. Therefore, fire should be stored as much as possible here before going into winter, because of the controlling cycle between water and fire. Shi Earth governs October by storing fire, the amount of yang qi temporarily ascending in this time. After that, the 3 months of winter start from high water. Like Chen Earth makes wood energy retreat a little bit then spring up to fire, Shi Earth also makes metal energy retreat a bit then descend down to water. In October, there are few warm days before getting cold. And that happens because the nature gathers and stores fire in this time. Also, after harvesting, October is the time to put all the crops in the storehouse. This fire storing aspect of Shi Earth is for saving and protecting the yang qi for the next year. In addition to this, Earth governs the late summer between summer and fall. In last video, I said the completion of Earth is very important in this time. So in the perspective of seasonal view, Earth is the part of summer, which is part of Yangqi. So it is also stored in Xu Earth. Therefore, Xu Earth stores two elements, fire and earth. The last storage branch is Cho Earth, which is the last branch of the big cycle of metal, 四有臭. Again, metal is conceived in the first month of summer, 四 fire, and gets the strongest in the second month of fall, 有 metal. And it is finally stored in the third month of winter, Cho Earth. After Cho Earth, spring season begins, so metal should be stored here to protect the new spring wood energy, because metal controls wood. If metal energy is not stored properly here, it may keep suppressing the wood, so sprouts cannot come out and grow easily in springtime. On the other hand, the appropriate amount of suppressing aspect of metal in Cho Earth actually helps wood energy spring up well and healthy. Simply saying, it is exactly same action how spring works. Right amount of pressure makes spring bounces up. It is the principle of action and reaction. Like this, in order to have a healthy wood energy, a proper pressure is needed. It is also applied to the birthing process. In clinical experiences, many practitioners have observed that the difference of wood function between people who are born by natural childbirth and people who are born by C-section. So some pressure is needed in a birthing process as well in order for a child to have a healthy wood function. Reading the storage branches in a real chart is somewhat challenging because we have to think about what 5 elements are stored. But in general, if who have a lot of storage branches like this person tends to think more before acting and a little bit more careful. We learned the birth branches are like children and the exuberance branches are like adults. We can say the quality of the storage branches are maturity. These kind of people have the aspect of being a mediator, so basically they are good at listening to other people, receiving all the information first, then arriving at conclusions later. We can say it is prudent in a positive way, but sometimes it could be too much ambiguous or sluggish in a negative way. Interestingly, people who have lots of storage branches cannot throw things away. Literally, they like to store things because they tend to think they might use them later. But the greatest qualities they have are harmonizing and transforming things or thoughts, because earth is the element that makes a balance and the integrity. In a psychological view, people who have the storage branches tend to have weird emotions and stress to the stored elements. For example, if Daily Master Gui Water has Cho Earth, the metal storage, this person has somewhat stressful situation from metal. In a simple family relation, metal is mother of Gui Water, so this person might have ambivalent emotions with mother. Like sometimes very good, but sometimes really irritating. It is like love-hate relationship. Metal energy is stored in Cho Earth, but it is going to be buried. So sometimes metal generates water very well, but sometimes it doesn't. So in reality, many emotions can come from storage branches such as the feeling of obsession, being victimized, sympathy, regret, helplessness, inferiority, resent, or blame. There is a perfect term in Korean that describes the emotions of storage branches, which is called han. However, there is no similar term in other languages. It is like the mixture of all the emotions that I made examples above that stays in the heart for a long term. Again, Chun Earth stores water, Wei Earth stores wood, Shi Earth stores fire and earth, and Cho Earth stores metal. And if somebody has the storage branches, that person might have those emotions to anything that corresponds to the stored elements. Like this, reading the storage branches is the most difficult, I think. Now let's talk about hidden stems before wrapping up this video. Again, the first hidden stems are surplus chi, which are come from the previous branches. In this case, exuberance branches are prior to the storage branches. So the surplus chi of Cho Earth is E wood. The surplus chi of Wei Earth is sting fire. The surplus chi of Shi Earth is Shin metal. And the surplus chi of Cho Earth is Gui water. Next, the middle chi of the storage branches are the energy that is stored. So you can just follow the color of circles. The root chi of the storage branches are all earth, but Chenshu are yang earth. So the root chi of Chenshu is Wu, the yang earth of heavenly stem. And Cho Wei are in earth. So the root chi of Cho Wei is Ji, the in earth of heavenly stem. The proportion of the storage branches are 9, 3, and 18. So the surplus chi governs 9 days, the middle chi governs 3 days, and the root chi governs 18 days out of 30 days. Okay, this was the last video of 3 categories of earthly branches. I will come back with more interesting and useful topics. Have a wonderful day. This was Dr. Jaden. See you next time. Bye.